We are at the stage where Python is installed on our PCs, and today we will start our discussion by discussing some general facts about Python, and then we will slowly move into its different features and different components that once you install Python, what all do you get, and how to navigate around all those features and all those things. Okay. So we'll be discussing all that today, and we will start working with the Python shell, and we'll be doing a few more things in the Python shell. Okay, that is the agenda for today. Okay, so let's talk about Python first of all. So this guy that you see on your screen, although this is a younger picture of him, his name is 𝐊𝐤𝐳 van Rossum. Okay, and he is the creator of Python. Okay, so he worked for multiple companies, universities, and so on, and he was already involved in development of other languages before, with different organizations that he worked for, but Python for him was like a garage project. Okay, so he created the most basic components of that programming language on his own, and then later on many other contributors also got in, and they also started contributing. So, but the initial creator or the contributor is 𝐊𝐤𝐳 van Rossum. Okay, this is a picture of him now. He is not that young. He is a bit old now. So, yeah, just a minute. Okay. So, let's talk about Python now. So Python is a very general purpose language. Okay, what do I mean by general purpose? It means that you can build anything. Okay, and now we can literally build any piece of software using Python. So you can Python started out as a scripting language only, where you could just write a few scripts to, just like bash is a bash scripts you can write to work with the operating system, the Linux operating system or the Unix operating system. So Python also started out pretty much similarly, but nowadays it has become a full blown programming language, and people are even developing huge softwares using Python. Okay, a huge web frameworks are being designed. So web framework, the things, the framework or the software that you use to develop a website, it's or internet portals, so to say. So or even APIs. If you want to design your own API, you use web frameworks, and in Python lot of new web frameworks have also come into picture. So these are like some of the most important uses or things that you do with a programming language, and now you can do all those things with Python. Okay, and the best part is that it is open source. Okay, it is open source and it is free to use. Anybody can download it, install it, and start using it. Okay, then the second best part about Python, and why Python has become, you can say the right word would be to say viral. Okay, it is kind of viral. Even if I was talking to one of my software engineer friends who primarily uses Java, and I mentioned to him that I back in the day I mentioned to him I want to start learning Python, and I want to do things with it, and even he was amazed that nowadays I'm talking about 5 or 6 years ago, or maybe even more than that, and he mentioned to me that what is it about Python, it is becoming really famous nowadays. I'm hearing everyone is learning Python. So in the past 10-15 years, basically it has become so viral that people from all walks of life are learning Python. And what is the repercussion of that fact? The fact that everyone or people who aren't even from the software engineering background are learning Python. What happens when so many people start to learn Python? Okay, and what could be the cause for that, and what could be the result of that? And Python packages is the is the result of that action, that everyone is learning Python. So what happened is, because of this virality, why first of all let's discuss why this virality happened. The most important thing is that Python semantics. Now what is semantics? Semantics is how you write a language. Okay, what like where you will be using colons, where you will be using spaces, what are the different words that you have to use, where you will be using indentation, where you will be using brackets, where how you will be basically writing. Okay, every language has its own semantics. If you write Hindi, if you write Tamil, if you write English, it has its semantics. Like in English, when you write normal English, you know where to put a comma, where to put a space, where to go to a next line while writing English. So these are the semantics. So for Python, the semantics are, I believe, the easiest, okay, of them all. The most easy semantics, or the way of writing code in Python language, I would say, is easiest, one of the easiest among all the languages, okay, that you hear about. Things like Java or C or C++, C Sharp, all those languages, if you compare with those, the more traditional languages, the semantics of Python are very, very, very easy. And that is one of the very, very key contributors which has encouraged lot of people who wanted to develop something on their own, some application on their own, maybe some home automation or any kind of automation that they wanted to do. They picked up Python for that. Okay, that is the greatest contributor for the virality. Now once this virality happened, once everyone got on board and wanted to develop with Python, and these people who wanted to develop with Python, these are from all walks of life. They are if I talk within the IT also, there are people who are from the network industry, from the server industry, from the the automation industry, from the data science industry, okay, within the realm of the IT industry. So lot of people are there, and when they got their hands dirty with Python, they slowly became better at it, and they developed their own pieces of code which others could use. Okay, now these codes, or these scripts, or these packages, or these libraries, okay, these are the different names for Python packages or libraries. They developed these to help themselves as well as the people in their domain. Okay, like a data science engineer developed a library that would help other data science engineers. A network engineer developed a library that would help other network engineers. A person who is in the web development industry developed packages and web frameworks that would help people in the web framework industry, okay, or the web development industry. So people from now, what happened is, now Python is easy, lot of packages have been developed in all domains. So now inter-domain things are also happening. Like I, as a network engineer, I am using a web framework that is developed in Python to create an intranet portal, because now I have enough knowledge of Python that I could use that web framework. I could read a few documents about it, I could go through few videos on the internet, and I could very easily learn, and I started developing my own intranet portal at my company. Okay, so it has become very, very easy now that inter-domain people can also use the libraries that were developed for that domain to get the jobs done in their domain. Okay, as a network engineer, I will be using a web framework to do something with the network devices only, but at least I can do that now. Okay, Earlier it was very, very difficult. Now a person who is in the software industry or in the web development industry, and he, let's say he wants to deal with IP addresses, or he has a task on hand where he has to develop something for network devices or network automation related stuff, he can very easily pick up on those libraries, and he can use those libraries very quickly to develop something for the network people. Okay, so that is why Python is becoming very viral, and it is becoming more and more usable and more used as we go ahead in time. Okay, everyone understood this point?
So what do you mean by libraries?
Yeah, libraries or Python packages are pieces of code that other people write and you can use them.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take another example to understand that. Let's take a let me clear that point quickly. So let's say you are a network engineer and you have to automate the process of taking an SSH session on the router, okay, and maybe sending some commands and taking the outputs. Let's say you have to automate that process as a network engineer. So now if you will start to do the automation of it, as a network engineer you all understand that to be able to create a SSH session with any machine, you will have to have knowledge of SSH, you will have to have knowledge of TCP, and you will have to have knowledge that how all these technologies are going to work on your operating system, like in Windows, that how you will be able to create a TCP session in Windows, and you will have to write Python code to handle all those things, handle TCP sessions, handle SSH sessions, handle the encryption part in that, handling the decryption part in that. And once you handle all those things, then you will be using that code further to write the code of sending some commands into the session and then reading the output of those commands from the session. So just imagine if you had to do all that, every single engineer, if they had to do all that, if they had to write all this code on their own, how much time would it take?
Okay, it's a
It
tedious
would,
job.
yeah, it can go up to years also. Okay,
Right.
so what happened, this is where packages come into picture. Okay, what packages do? Someone developed a package called Paramiko. Okay, in Paramiko, this Paramiko is basically the implementation of SSH in Python, you can say. The complete SSH protocol, whatever are its features, whatever are the possibilities that you can have with SSH, like downloading files, uploading files, then maybe using it to send commands, and all the different things that you can do with SSH. He created a complete library with Paramiko, and now you can just import this library in your script, and you can use the different functions and methods that this library provides, and within maybe 20 minutes you can, or maybe 1 hour, you can write the complete script of sending some show commands over to the router and getting the output, and you will be done with it. Okay, and this script now you can keep using all your life. Okay, or if you go somewhere else to some other company, maybe you will have to make a few minor changes here and there, and you will still be good to go. Okay, so this is how packages help us, and this is the biggest reason why Python is becoming like the leader in this space. Why isn't Cisco or other companies, why aren't they telling you to learn Perl or Ruby or Java? Why are they all in, even in their certifications, why are they telling, or why are they using Python as the programming language? This is the reason. Okay, lots and lots of libraries, or you can say other people's code exists now, that network engineers like you and me can directly start using and creating code, and saving time for our company. We can do it in very short amount of time.
Okay.
Okay, the learning curve is very, very small now.
So this Paramiko is a package,
Yeah,
right? That we
it's a
can download
package.
it.
The other name is library. Package or
Library.
library, don't get confused, same thing. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Everyone clear?
Amit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just one quick question.
Yeah.
How I'm looking at from the security perspective, if at all, if the
Yeah.
libraries are
Yeah, I get
pre-available.
that. Yeah, I get that question a lot
Mhm.
about the security. The answer to that question lies in the fact that all these pieces of code that whoever is developing Paramiko or whoever is developing, all these libraries, their code is available on the internet on the GitHub for everyone to see. Okay, anyone can log in and just see what they have written. There is no foundation that only the people who are contributing can see the code. Okay, this code is totally open, that is true for like 99.9% of the libraries. Okay, anybody can just go to the page. They have their own links where you can go and see the code, and you can when once you download these packages and libraries, even on your own PC also you can see how they have written their code. Okay, so if you can see the code, you can understand the code. If you find any problem, you can escalate it to the contributing team and they will correct it. You can correct it on your own also, and if you can read the code pretty much, there will be no problems, right? If your security teams and all those teams can vet it. Okay.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, so it is open. Yeah, the main versions of Python, 2.x and 3.x. Okay, so 2.x is deprecated now. It is recommended not to use it also, and there is no longer contributions or no longer further versions of 2.x being created now. 3.x is the current version of current main version of Python. Currently in that also we are on 3.10 dot something. Okay, so the smaller versions keep coming in. Okay, from time to time, there are always in development. Maybe sometimes every month also new versions keep coming in, but the major version, like version 3 is the one that we use nowadays and is also recommended to use. Okay, fine. Now when you download Python, okay, there is one additional, well, there are more than one, but there is one additional software or piece of software that we get. Okay, and that software is Pip. Okay, Pip. So the full form of Pip is Pip installs packages. So in the full form of Pip also you will get Pip. Okay, so it is a recursive acronym. So what is the job, what is Pip? Okay, Pip is the package management system of Python. Okay, it is the package management system of Python. So in Python, when you are using Python, packages play a very very big role. Okay, you will be hugely dependent on packages, which is also a very good thing. Okay, because you will not have to write in the software industry. A very good thing is said that don't reinvent the wheel. Okay, it is a common saying. So you should not reinvent the wheel. Means if something is already created, don't create it. So if someone has already created a library or an implementation of SSH, don't go there and recreate it. Okay, in or maybe for your own company, don't go ahead and recreate a Paramiko kind of a thing. Okay, just download Paramiko, use it, and get the job done. So don't waste your time recreating it. So once you are going to, when you have to deal with lot of packages, there will be lot of downloading the packages, installing the packages, uninstalling the packages, getting the more latest version of a package, going back to the older version of a package. Lot of things related to the packages is going to happen, right? Libraries के अराउंड बहुत सारी चीज़ें होने वाली है, libraries and packages के अराउंड. Okay, so you need a package management system, and that is what pip does for you. So if I once you install Python, and if you install it properly as per the instructions given by me, you will very easily be able to access pip here in your command prompt itself. In your command prompt, if you just go and write pip hyphen hyphen help, okay, so it will give you an output. So here you can see the all the different commands that you can use with pip, but you don't need to know all these commands, because 99% of the times you won't be needing all these commands. The people who are into package development themselves, those people might need to go through all those commands, but there are some commands that you might be using in near future, that is pip install, pip download, uninstall, freeze, list, show. Okay, so these are all up to show, all these are like important commands, so we'll discuss about those. Okay, so now let's talk about install. Now pip install, what does the name suggest? Pip install itself suggests that it is going to install a package. Okay, so let's take an example of a library. So requests is a library that we will be using in future, but it is one of the important libraries whenever you have to work with APIs or websites or web portals. Requests is an library that you will be using in that case. Okay, so what I'll be doing is I will be installing the requests library. Okay, so if I hit enter, it is telling me that the requirement is already satisfied. Okay, it means that requests is one of the libraries that is already installed. Okay, but if I did not have that, let's take another example. Maybe I don't have 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐰𝐨𝐫𝐤, so I will do that. Pip install 𝐊𝐤𝐿𝐤𝐿. So okay, on this PC I have net, so I'll do one thing.
Sorry for interruption. Paramount
Yeah,
is different, 𝐊𝐤𝐿𝐤 is different, huh?
yeah. But yeah, we'll discuss about that also. Okay, I'll tell you what is the difference. Okay, so if I will just quickly uninstall requests. So it ended up installing from my PC itself. Now I'm not aware what all libraries I have. So I will run the command pip list. This will list all the libraries that I have currently installed on my PC, and it will also tell the version number of that library. Okay, so all these libraries are already there on this PC. Okay, so I ended up installing a lot of libraries. Let's see, I'll try and install one more.
Please try the command is.
Pip list, yeah. So this is one of the libraries that I did not have. Okay, napalm. Okay, so napalm is also a library that we will be working with further in the course. So when I installed napalm, okay, you will see here that first of all it went ahead and it downloaded napalm. Okay, but as soon as it was done downloading napalm, what did it do? It now went ahead and started to download other libraries also. Okay, so after that it went for PyE API, then it went for Ginger 2, then it went for net address, then it went for Juno's EZNC, 𝐊𝐤𝐿𝐤, okay, Cisco conf parse, PyYAML. Okay, it is going for all these libraries, NC client, setup tool, PyC. So in the end you can see the complete list here. Okay, I just asked it to install napalm, but it ended up installing all these libraries. Okay, so can someone tell me why did it do that? Anyone?
Dependencies.
Yes, The key word here is dependencies. What are dependencies? Dependencies means, as I told you, okay, it is the other word for don't reinvent the wheel. It means that when the creator of Napalm started out to create his or her own library, they found out that the underlying operations that they might have to do, or the things that they want to achieve with the Napalm library, lot of smaller tasks of that bigger task that, or the bigger thing that they want to achieve, lot of the smaller tasks have already been achieved by other libraries. Okay, in Napalm, in the backend, they will be creating an SSH session. So 𝐊𝐤𝐿 is a very good library that takes care of SSH session. Okay, similarly, when I install 𝐊𝐤𝐿, it is going to in the background it is going to install what? It is going to install 𝐿𝐷. Okay, I can even show you if I think when I did 𝐊𝐷 pip Napalm request is there. Okay, leave it, I'll do again. Pip install 𝐊𝐷. So when I install 𝐊𝐷, you will see that it tries to download another library, 𝐿𝐷. Okay. Why is it trying to install 𝐿𝐷? You can see 𝐿𝐷 here. Okay. Because 𝐿𝐷 is a dependency of 𝐊𝐷. When the creator of 𝐊𝐷 started to create 𝐊𝐷, he saw that he will have to create SSH sessions. So why should he write that complete functionality again? He ended up using 𝐿𝐷 to create SSH sessions with the devices. Now what other features he has to provide, he will develop those on top of that. Okay, but he will not waste his time developing the complete SSH protocol in Python again. You got it, everyone?
Yes.
So this is the concept. So even the creators of packages also use other packages. Okay, so if I ask you to use packages, don't think that this trainer is not teaching us everything. Okay, so even the expert programmers use other people's code. Okay, fine, clear?
Yeah.
Let's continue. Now you learned about installing libraries, you learned about uninstalling libraries. If you have to uninstall any library, you can do that with uninstall. We then talked about you can uninstall like this. Okay, if you have to view all the libraries that are available to you, you can use the command pip list. Okay, now there might be requirements, okay, where you develop a project and you use certain libraries in that project. Okay, now you will want other people in your team to use the project or use the scripts that you have written, right?
Yes.
Now when you will want them to use the script that you have written, that the script that you have written also runs with the help of libraries like 𝐊𝐷, 𝐿𝐷, requests and all these things, right? Right?
Yes.
So will you, while sharing your scripts with them, will you also share the code of 𝐊𝐷 with them? No.
No.
Why would? Because how did you get the code of 𝐊𝐷? You got the code of 𝐊𝐷 from internet, right?
Correct.
So why will you ask them, or why will you give them the code from your PC? You can ask them to download it, right?
Yeah.
But let's say that the code of, let's say a new version of 𝐊𝐷 has come out now. Okay, you started your project development 6 months ago. Okay, you used, let's say, 𝐊𝐷 2.7. Okay, And now after 6 months, 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐰𝐴 3.4.0 has come out. Okay. Now you are sharing the code with them. If you tell them that run pip install 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐼, they will get which version? They will get the latest version only. Right? What is the latest version? 3.4.0. Let's say whatever development you did is dependent on older version. Okay. So you developed it on 2.7, now it is 3.4, and for some reason your code, when you give it to them, they also installed 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐼, but still your code is not running on their PC. So how will you solve that problem? Okay. So what we'll do is, we have to, how we can solve this problem. Let's go to desktop. Here I'm on desktop, but I'm running just that is just for the path, but I will still be running a pip command, okay, that you can run from any path, that does not matter. I will run a command pip freeze, and then I will put one arrow mark, and then I will give the name of the file, requirements.txt. Okay. Let's say this is the set of requirements that is required to run the script that you shared with your teammate. Okay. If I will hit enter, one file will be created on my desktop. Okay. Let me open that file for you from my desktop. Okay. This is the file. If I hover over it, you can see that it is on my desktop. Okay. What does this file contain? It contains all the libraries with the version number of those libraries. Okay. Like for example, napalm is 3.4.0. Where is 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐼 is again 3.4.0, or maybe 𝐕𝐴RAMICO is 2.10.3. Now you know that the code is running on your PC with this particular version. So what you will do, you will freeze the version numbers of libraries on your PC. You will create this file, and somehow you will share this text file with your friend. Your friend will download this file on his PC, and what he will do is, he will say pip install -r. He will not install the, you are not going to tell him that install 𝐊𝐤𝐭𝐼, 𝐕𝐴RAMICO. You will not tell him individual libraries. You will give him this file, and he will run one command, pip install -r requirements.txt. You'll hit enter, and all the libraries that you have on your PC with the exact version number will also get downloaded and installed on his PC. Everyone understood this? What happened here?
Yeah.
So in this way, now he will also be able to run your project or your scripts on his PC that you were able to run on your own PC. Okay. So in bigger projects, what happens is, whenever people use new libraries, they will keep putting the name of those libraries in the requirements.txt file, and other people will keep running this command, and they will also be on the same version of that library. Okay. And everyone in the team will be able to run that code. Okay. Now in bigger projects, what happens is, lot of libraries are used sometimes. So in that case, you will need to maintain this. Okay. Because if you are using lot of libraries, you will even if you are running something, you will be getting 1000 errors for 1000 libraries that are not existing on their PC. So you don't want to waste everyone's time in giving them a list of libraries. So you better put it in requirements.txt, and anyone can run this command, and they will also be on that same version. Okay. So you now know pip install, uninstall, freeze, all these things. Okay. So you can also do pip show. If you do pip show, and if you say, let's say netmiko, it will give you all the different dependency libraries that it uses, and it will give you the name, version number. It will also give you the place or the URL where netmiko code is kept. Okay, who is the author, Kirk Byers, what is his email, what is the license. MIT license means open license. Okay, so this is an open library, and you can see in the summary here, multi-vendor library to simplify paramiko SSH connections to network devices. Okay, so it is specifically created keeping network devices in mind. Okay, paramiko is a more generic thing that is for any kind of SSH session, whether it is servers or anything, but netmiko was created keeping network devices in mind, and they have used paramiko as the dependency for it. Okay, so this is all about pip. Okay, any doubt till now? I just explained about pip and maybe 4 or 5 commands related to pip. That's it.
Commands, that meaning, and in which situation will use the command. Those are all things I got because I need to
just install Python. Okay, let me tell you again. Just install Python and you just go and do pip -- help. Okay. And one more thing, don't overburden yourself on remembering everything. Okay, that is why we do video recordings. Okay, and nobody, even including me, is so smart that they can in a single sitting they will learn everything. Even the people who are understanding this topic completely in the class today, they have gone through Python topics or similar things earlier. That's why they are understanding today. Okay, so you almost everyone will have to watch these videos again. Okay, and I urge you to prepare minor notes for yourself and in the class. That will also keep you busy, and you will be involved. You will not feel sleepy. Okay, fine. So you can also prepare minor notes yourself. Just open a Word file on the side, and you can put pictures and everything in that. Fine. Yeah.
No, what I told, like, we'll one or two times we'll see this particular video and we'll note it down, and that time we'll get any doubt.
Yeah. You can ask every day. What I do is, I will open the session 10 to 15 minutes earlier. Okay. The today also, like, I opened it 10-15 minutes earlier. Okay. So every day it will be like this only. The session will open earlier, so if you have any doubts, just join 15 minutes earlier. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And one more important thing, guys, please don't skip classes. Okay, you all are like not naturally good with programming languages. Even I was not naturally good with programming languages. That is why I was a network engineer and not a software engineer. Okay, so please keep coming to these classes as much as possible. If you miss a class due to unforeseen reasons, unavoidable reasons, if you miss a class, make it a mandatory habit that by the next class you will watch the video and you will be on the same page. Even if if the load becomes higher, you are not getting the time to practice stuff, if you're not getting time to do the homework, your schedule is like really busy and anything like that, then also keep coming to the classes. Okay, because classes will give you the first perspective at least. So next time when you will watch the video again, at least at that time in a second you will understand every concept. Okay, if you don't come to the classes, if you watch the video first time, that is the first time you are learning that concept. Okay, so make the class the first time, then video will be your second time. Everyone agrees to this fact?
Yeah, you're right.
Yes.
You got this? I want everyone to agree to this.
Yes.
And make a promise to
Yes.
yourself that you will not miss classes, okay, as much as possible. Because you see, you will have a bad experience. You will be thinking that trainer is not teaching anything or anything like that. Trust me guys, I put more than 100% effort from my end, okay. I am ready to open 15 minutes before the class. I am ready to wait half an hour after the class also if you have any doubt. But at the end, learning is something where even if you pay, you will have to put efforts. Okay. So whether it is your school, college, or anything, okay, you will have to put your efforts also. So don't miss out on that. So now let's move on to the next topic. Okay, this was the discussion on pip. Okay, now let's talk about the Python shell. Okay, the other name for this is Python interpreter also. Okay, now what is an interpreter? I think most of you have in your college days, I think you've read about interpreter, right? Can anyone tell
Yeah.
me what is an interpreter? What?
It's like a compiler.
Translator.
Compiler also, in some cases you have compiler and interpreter separately in some languages, but some languages only have the interpreter. What is the task of this? What does this
Wait.
do?
It converts given instruction into outputs.
Into machine language.
Okay.
The normal semantics that we write in scripts, okay, whatever we write in scripts or the code that we write as human beings, whatever code we are going to write, this code is going to look more like English language. Okay, this code is going to look more like English language written in a file. That's it. But there is one software that is interpreter which is going to read all this code and convert it into machine language. What is machine language? The language that your processor and your CPU, all these components, whatever they understand, whatever operations that they will be performing, addition, subtraction, and all these things, all the operations that they will be performing, that those instructions have to be in machine language. Okay, so the interpreter is the software that will convert this, or basically the code that you write, into machine language. Okay, so how in Python can we directly work with this interpreter? Okay, in Python there is a functionality called the Python shell. Okay, when you install Python, you will automatically get access to this. Okay, and in the Python shell you can write even single lines of code. Okay, when you will write single lines of code and execute them, at the same time you will get to know that if this line of code is good or not. Okay, whereas in the case of longer scripts, you will first write it in a .py file, and then you will run it using the interpreter, and then if it has any error, or if it is good, it will run. If it has any error, then you will come to know later. But in the shell, you can write even single line of code in one go, and it will be able to run that line and give you the output of that single line also. So that is what you call Python shell. So once you've installed Python, you just go to your command prompt, and if you will say Python, you will land into your Python shell. Okay, you can see that the terminal has changed a little bit. Earlier this is what your terminal looked like. Now it has changed. Okay, here you can write lines of code directly. Okay. Now let's say that I will do a mathematical operation. Okay, Python is a very advanced language. You can directly do mathematical operations as lines of code. Okay, so if I'll do 5 plus 5, it will give me the output of 10. Okay, so this 5 plus 5 is also a line of code that you have directly given to the interpreter. It did all the, it converted it into machine language, the mathematical operation was done, and the result is given to you in the in the next line itself. Okay, this is the Python shell. Clear?
Okay.
Now there is a little problem with this shell. Okay, the little problem is that it is not very user friendly. I am not clearly able to see you know what is the meaning of 5 here, or like how the language is identifying 5, what it is, is it being read as a number, or is it being read as something else, how the plus is being read. So my eyes are not able to certainly make a difference between the different pieces of the code. Okay, so to help us with that, what you need to do is you exit out of this, you install one library called IPython. Okay, in my case I have already done that, but if you will run this command, this will get installed for you also. Okay, pip install IPython. Now IPython is nothing but that same Python shell given in a more human friendly or interactive fashion. Okay, this is much better to look at. So instead of running the Python command, now I will run the IPython command. Okay, in this you will notice that the IPython version is 8.2.0. okay, but the Python version is 3.10.4, which is same as the previous one. Okay, so basically we are accessing the same terminal or the same shell, but this time it will be much more colorful, much more easier to understand. Okay, it will be better to look at, and it will give us some additional features also, like auto completion and all those things. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Fine. So let's do that same mathematical operation now. Okay, now you can see that the 5s are colored differently, the plus is colored differently, and the output is being depicted as out 1 and so on. Okay, clear? Any doubt on what is IPython?
No.
Okay, it is just a new skin for that old shell. Okay, fine. So now let's talk about the shell, what all we can do with it. So as I told you, we can directly do mathematical operations in it. Okay, so 5 plus 5 is 10. If I do 5 minus 5, it will be 0. If I do 3 multiplied by 5, it will be 15. Okay, multiplication, you can see I am using the star symbol for multiplication. If I have to divide, I will do 10/2. Okay, the answer is 5.0. Then if I have to do, I can also do modulo operation. Okay, what is modulo operation? Finding out the remainder. So if I do 18% 7, I am basically dividing 18 by 7, and I don't want to get the the division result. I want to get the remainder here. Okay, so 7 2s are 14, 18 minus 14 is 4. So that is the output. Modulo operation. You can also do exponential operations. Okay, 4 raised to the power of 2. I am putting stars 2 times. I am putting them together. Okay, if I put stars 2 times together, 4 raised to the power 2, it is 16. 4 4s are 16. Clear? Any doubts in this? Are you all able to see it clearly? Now, this is directly we are running mathematical operations as lines of code. Okay, since this is a IPython shell, I am able to see these outputs directly on this terminal itself. But in reality, you will be running Python scripts in your command prompt or PowerShell terminals, and you would want to see the output of those in the terminal. So to get the output of any operation or anything in Python, there is one inbuilt function that you will get. Okay, what is that function which you will be using most of the time? The function is print function. Okay, print function. And this is the what? This is how you call a function. You first give the name of the function, then you have open and close brackets or parentheses. The round brackets in English, the proper name for round brackets is parentheses. So whenever anyone says parentheses, you understand that they are talking about round brackets. Okay. So if I say parentheses, it means round brackets. It does not mean curly bracket, square bracket. It means round brackets. Okay. So within the parentheses, you will provide what? You will provide your input. Now what I'll do is I will do 5 plus 5 again. But this time I am doing it, or I am giving it as an input to the print function. Okay. So this time I'll run the code, and can you see the difference here? Here the actual line of code was running and I was getting the output. But here the 10, I'm not getting it out as an output. It is being printed out on this terminal. Okay, by the print function. 10 is being printed out on this terminal by the print function. Is it clear? This is also a terminal, right? And on this terminal I ran one line of code. What this line of code does? It first does the mathematical operation, then that is given as an input to the print function, and then the print function does its job of printing out that line on the terminal. Everyone understood? Any doubts? Similarly, if I do 5 minus 5, it is 0. Okay. But it is being printed out. Remember that.
Like main difference. What about main difference about print and out? This one.
As I told you,
Both are
this
written,
itself, as I told you, let me give the answer to that. As I told you, this itself is the line of code here. Okay. This itself is the line of code here, and this is what the Python shell does, is it gives you the output of the operation of running that line of code. Okay. But in the print function, there is also some code associated with the print function in the background. But the purpose of that code is not to give you output. The purpose of that code is to print something on the terminal. Okay. Whichever terminal where you are running your Python code, on that terminal sometimes you will want outputs, right? Let's say you have logged into some device. So in your script you have written that login into device and then get me output. But when you log into the device, you want to tell the user that I have successfully logged into device. How will you inform the user about that? You will have to print it out on the screen, right? On the terminal. On the terminal where the Python script is being run, on that terminal itself you will print it out that we have successfully logged into this router, right? So that will be done by print function. Got it? Fine. So this output you are seeing because you are using Python shell. This output is common for all terminals. Okay. If you will put 5 plus 5 in a Python script, and if you run that script, you will see no output. Okay. That's the difference. Although your CPU will do the operation of adding, but still you will not see any output. If you do this in a Python script. Okay, you are seeing this output 10 because this is a shell. Got it? Is your question answered? Fine. Now let's say I want to print out some text on the screen. Okay, so let's say I want to print out hello world. This is a piece of text that I want to print out. If I hit enter, it printed out hello world. Okay, it is printing out hello world for us. Did you notice that while giving this text as an input, I provided these double quotes on both sides, but in the output I am not getting these. Did you notice that? The output is simple like this. Okay, but did you also notice that when I'm giving the value 5 as input here or here, these are being colored differently from the text input? Did you notice that? Why is this IPython shell is identifying this piece of text and it and coloring it in orange color? Why this one is being colored in green color? Why do you think that is happening? Anyone?
Because that is a Python shell. This is just giving the output. I mean, the print that what you gave, it's common.
No, here also 5 is green only, na?
Yeah.
But here this hello world is in orange.
This is a numerical character and this is the string.
Yes, because the type of data is different. Okay, the type of data there in the case of 5 is integer. It's a number, it's a digit. But here it is text. Okay, here you are writing English words, here you are like other characters are there in this case. Okay, but what if I put some number inside it? Instead of hello world, if I put, let's say, 96 here, but now 96 is also becoming text. It is also being put in orange color by IPython. Why do you think that is happening?
Oh, okay, you put it in the double quotes.
Yes, I put it in double quotes. So double quotes is the thing that is making this type of data different. It is not the data itself, it is the double quotes that is making the difference, right? So let me tell you that this type of data in Python is called strings. This type of data in Python is called integers. Okay, so we will have a detailed discussion on this in the further classes. Okay, so we will be dealing with all the different important or basic types of data that there can be, like integers, your strings, floats, boolean. Okay, all these important types of data that you can have, we will be discussing about those in the next class. Okay, so today we talked about pip. Okay, we talked about like basic Python shell, then we talked about how IPython is better, then we talked about some basic mathematical operations in IPython shell, then we talked about the print function. Okay, and we talked about two types of data, that is integer and string today. Okay, so we'll be covering other types of data. We will be learning some other concepts about variables and things like that in the next class. Okay, so any doubt till now? Is it clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Somewhat is clear. We'll see one more time video and we'll get back from doubts.
Yes. Please come with doubts. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
It is my
Don't mind,
humble.
like, we
No,
will
it is my humble request. I want doubts. Okay. I want doubts, because if you don't have doubts, it means you are not studying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah. One small thing I want to tell you about Pip. You must be wondering that I just said Pip install 𝐊𝐤𝐿, and where did that 𝐊𝐤𝐿 come from, right? So where on internet does that exist? So let's discuss that quickly. Okay. So Python's own servers, there is one besides the python.org website, there is one more additional website, that is PyPy. Okay, Python package index, Python pi package index. So this is the place where, let's say if tomorrow you become a well established programmer, and let's say you are developing your own library for some purpose. Okay, but if you want everyone in the world to be able to download that library using pip, then in that case what you have to do is you will have to reach out to the Python organization, and you will have to ask them to publish your library on this website. Okay, so here for example, if I search 𝐊𝐤𝐿, it is one of the libraries that they had to publish on this also. Okay, like this is 𝐊𝐤𝐿 4.0.0 is the latest version that is hosted here. Okay, if your library is hosted here, only then pip will be able to download it, otherwise pip will not work. You will have to find other ways of installing it. Okay, so like here you will get all the details. If you want to go through the documentation, a little bit of documentation will also be mentioned here. Or if you want to go through the the detailed documentation, or if you want to go to the code itself. Okay, like here you can access the release history, like what is the version before that, when did that version come out. All the details about any particular library are mentioned here. Okay, you can see the files that will get downloaded. Okay, so this is how it works. Your packages have to be on Python package index for pip to be able to download them and install them. Although the actual code that is still being developed will not be on PyPy. Okay, it will be on GitHub or whichever code sharing website they are using. It will be there. Okay, you can go to that from here also. Okay, it will take you to GitHub. So here you will find the actual code. Okay, I can take you to any script like base connection.py. So here you will find the actual Python code for that library. Okay, on GitHub. But if you want people to be able to download and install that library using pip, then you will have to host your library on this particular website. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.